welcome to Have You Got Your Shit Together with me, Caitlin O'Ryan, the podcast that celebrates not having your shit together. On today's episode, we have Nathan, aka NeOne The Wonderer. He is a jazz, soul and hip-hop inspired musician hailing from Wolverhampton. NeOne has been described as a musical alchemist, mixing genres to create unique signature sounds. He describes himself as a dream wanderer, dedicated to self-exploration and challenging our perception of normality through dreams, nightmares, myth and reality. He is part of the MOBO Top 10 Unsung Class of 2023, featuring incredible emerging artists who are on the path to becoming some of the most exciting breakthrough acts in music. Make sure you check out his latest single, New Whip Who Dis, which is a celebration of new achievements and sharing those moments of success with friends. It was written with manifestation in mind. He was such a joy and a laugh to talk to. This really is a hug of an episode. Hope you enjoy it. Here's NeOne The Wonderer. So, hey, Nathan.
Hello.
Where are you based? You in Wolverhampton?
Yes, where the magic happens.
The Midlands.
Yep.
Yeah.
Where the magic happens.
Yeah. I can't say I've been through there much. I've been to like Birmingham once or twice. But yeah, never been to Wolverhampton.
You know the funny thing? People always mistake Birmingham and Wolverhampton. It's like people will say that I'm from Birmingham. I'm not from Birmingham. And for those Birmingham
Let's just make this clear.
Yeah, Birmingham being the second city, the real truth behind it all is that Wolverhampton came first.
Okay.
And Wolverhampton set Birmingham up during the, what would you call it? The factory warehouse days. I don't know what them days are called.
Industrial Revolution.
Industrial Revolution.
Yeah.
So technically Wolverhampton should be the second city.
All right, okay.
Just saying.
So Nathan, on a scale of shit to together, how are you feeling today?
Oh, I'm feeling
broken
very
mic?
shit ever.
Okay.
Yeah, more shit than together.
Okay.
But a bit of both, I guess.
What's led you to feel like that?
I guess progression in life means that I must be doing something right. But the fact that there's so much that I have to do because of doing something right is throwing me off the rails. That's the only way to describe it.
Yeah, and you literally just broke your mic before you came to join us. So that's
I was tidying up. I heard a drop, and I thought, it's just dropped. It's fine.
Yeah.
And literally minutes before setting up, I picked up the mic because it detached from its stand, and I looked inside, and I noticed the diaphragm. I noticed the diaphragm inside the mic was not standing anymore.
Oh, shit.
And so then when I tried to turn it up to hear if it could still record sound, all I could hear was outside.
Oh, no.
Yeah, it sounded like wind.
It's a great start. Yeah.
So, yeah. Wow. That's my day.
Okay. So on that then, what does having your shit together mean to you?
I don't know. I feel like having your shit together is an illusion. Simply because every time I felt like, ooh, I've got it together, I've found something that has let me know that I really haven't. There's always that new challenge, like, oh, you think you got your shit together? Okay. And then, boom, all this shit starts raining down like a mountain of doo-doo. And you realize, oh, there's a lot more that I need to learn.
Yeah.
However, I feel that I tend to measure things on what I consider as success.
Right.
And that to me is having my shit together because I'm in a field that is just very commonly known to be unsuccessful. It's the have you got a real job aspect of the field.
Can relate.
And so, yeah, when I can see results that I've intended to gain come to fruition, I think that's me having my shit together. And that's when I'm smiling, I feel confident, and I buy myself a rum as a treat. So every time I've got a bottle of rum, I think I've got my shit together.
You have to mark these successes somehow.
Really do. We really do.
So for people who don't know then, what would you describe your job as, your career? What do you do?
So
have you got a real job?
I'm a musician and a creative.
Yeah.
The reason I have to use both terms is because I treat music as something very multidisciplinary. And so I've had a little bit of experience in acting, just throwing it in there.
Oh, sorry, triple threat.
I know you've been doing that acting as well, so you know.
Takes one to know one, babes.
I can be or not to be every now and then, you know what I mean? Yeah. But I've studied loads of different creative fields like videography, painting, music, and they all tie together to create. And so, yeah, that makes me a creative.
I love that. I think there's a tendency, especially in the UK, to have to like choose one thing and just identify as that thing, whereas, you know, places like America, you get way more intersectionality between like acting and music and just creativity, I guess.
Arguably, I'd say that you have to be so many different things now.
Yeah.
Like maybe back in the 90s, it was where everyone could be one role. Like a singer was just a singer and then they had a full team of people. But now if you're a singer, you've got to be a singer, a marketer, a lawyer, a producer.
That's so true.
You got to be everything. You got to wear so many different hats just to get somewhere.
Yeah.
And it's not just in the creative field either. Like you could be working for Starbucks, but all of a sudden you're a toilet cleaner.
Yeah.
And you're a psychologist for people who are having one of them type of days and all sorts.
Yeah, that's so true. That is so true. Okay, then, before this podcast, we asked you to think of an object that makes you feel like you've got your shit together.
Yes.
What is that object, please?
Before I tell you what the object is, I want to say I knew that I didn't have my shit together this morning because I was looking for it and couldn't find it. And I was worried that I'd lost it.
So one of those days. Is it the microphone?
No, imagine. Yeah, so I was looking around the house for it. But what my object is this little charm here.
Okay.
And the person inside the charm, this is
so it's like a little wooden oval. I'm just describing it a little bit.
It's Mayan or Native American. It's a wooden charm.
Yeah.
And inside is a person playing a flute.
Oh,
and that person is the god known as Kokopelli.
Cool.
And Kokopelli is the god of music, mischief, and love.
Wow. I'm seeing a bit of all of that in you, to be fair.
Yeah, that encapsulates me quite well. My girlfriend bought me this. And it used to be attached to a chain, but that snapped off in a fight that I wasn't a part of.
Okay.
I was just there. And so what I tend to do is every gig I go to, I place it on the keyboard because it fits nicely between the two keys. And one, it lets me know what part of the keyboard I'm playing from because some have different key layouts. And I use it to just keep me calm. It's like my lucky charm. And so if I'm feeling nervous, I can just get this, place it on the keyboard, and I know that I'm about to make shit happen. You know what I mean?
That's so cute, like a little mascot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shout out Kokopelli.
Yeah, well, don't lose it again. Keep it where you can see it.
Yeah. I might have to pin it to a wall.
Okay, can you tell us about a time in your life where you felt like you really had your shit together?
So, at the start of this month, I got my first car.
Oh my God, that's adult.
Yes, I'm doing adult shit right now. And so it's even to the point where like I'm trying to force errands onto myself just so I can drive around.
Picking up random people, take them where they need to go.
Well, I did go past somebody the other day. It was late, and they were just walking on the side of a big dual carriageway, and I thought people don't usually walk here. I sped up a little bit. I'm not doing the strangest thing, just in case. You know what the world's like today.
I was fully waiting for you to like pick up someone out of charity there.
But yeah, I think definitely this month is where I feel like I've really got my shit together. Simply because, you know, I can do school runs without having to catch the bus.
Yeah.
In between that, if I need to do something, I'm very able to do all these things now.
Yeah.
I've even done the London journey already. Like
in a car?
The first day I got my car, I drove to Birmingham. Yeah. And a few days ago, I've done 2 journeys to London, one with friends, one on my own. So I feel like I'm conquering the world right now.
Yeah. How long is that drive?
It's about 3 hours, I'd say.
Did you stop off anywhere for like a little sandwich?
I did, simply because I felt myself falling asleep. And I know that's dangerous, so I took responsibility.
Wow, he's a responsible driver.
Yeah, because I thought even attempting to power through it is just too risky. I enjoy living, so I'm going to, keep myself alive for a bit longer. And so, taking stops. I think I needed a stop to have a doo-doo the last time as well.
Yeah, it's got to happen sometimes.
Imagine being on the motorway, no service stations, and you need to do that. Nah.
Hell.
I've heard stories.
Literally not having
doo-doo.
your shit together.
Yeah, I've heard people have wet themselves because they just have to. Very close people to me. I can't expose them, but you know.
That's not even a friend of a friend story. That's just a friend story. You have the receipts. So having a car makes you feel like you've got your shit together.
Yes, most definitely. I'm no longer the passenger.
Yeah.
Although I keep on, every time I go up to the car, I keep going to the passenger side and not realizing that I'm the driver and owner of the vehicle.
Made to be driven, babes. How old are you, if you don't mind me asking?
I am 32 years of
32, okay. So yeah, you're old enough to have a car then.
Oh,
It's
yeah,
been a
most
while.
definitely.
Yeah. To be fair, I can't drive. Like, I'm 28 and I've had about 20 driving lessons, and yeah, I've never taken a test. So like, I can drive, just not legally. That's like my go-to. Like, just every time that it's come to a point of me taking a test, I've like had to leave the city, or like I've just not been there. And also, when you live in London, you literally just don't need a car.
Not at all.
But then when I go home to like Oldham, which is just outside of Manchester, I feel so fucking disconnected, and I suddenly feel like a child again because I'm like having to rely on other people to come and pick me up. So
that was me.
Yeah.
Imagine me doing that, but I'm a parent as well. So
wow.
Oh man. Yeah, it's such an honor being able to take my daughter on the school run and to pick her up again. Yeah. She's got her a nice chauffeur. I play classical music as we go.
Do you?
Or we play the times table song so that she's got her maths in check.
Get you a guy who can do both, teaching and driving. Okay, then, in opposition to that, a time in your life where you felt like you really didn't have your shit together.
Oh. This is we have to take it there. I'd have to say around 2015 when I was going through depression.
Okay.
And it's obvious that it comes with the territory, but I think when you're in that type of state of mind and existence, everything just feels like it's crashing down.
Yeah.
And my behavior was very self-destructive, but I was never in the position of realizing that I was doing that to myself as well.
Yeah.
And so I think it was one of my most teaching moments, and I'm the most grateful for that moment. Strangely enough, I think the most, what's the word? I'm going to say catastrophic things really imprint on us.
Yeah.
And the fact that I managed to, really grow and come back with strength and wisdom from all of that is the reason why I'm able to somewhat have my shit together in short. But yeah, I think most definitely around those times, I ended up homeless for a while. I had issues with drugs. I had issues with obviously my mental health, and just I couldn't really achieve anything. I remember I even got in trouble with bank debts where I put my trust into an actual con artist, like a fraudster. I knew that's what they did, but for some reason I didn't think it was going to happen to me.
Not to me.
And so that's what I mean by all the self-destructive things. Like I threw myself into a lot of debts, and I just put myself in a position where I felt like there wasn't any way out of it.
Yeah.
And from being that low and still managing to survive somehow, I just know that, we can get through anything as people. We're really resilient, and, any challenge that's going to come to us is going to give us a great lesson. And by all means, we'll never forget it. So I will never forget being in that mental state and physical state and financial state, and, learning from it and prospering through it. Yeah. It was great. The best, worst experience ever.
Well, thank you so much for sharing that. I'm sorry to hear that you went through that. When you were at that time, what was it that got you through, and what ultimately helped you to get out of that period?
Oh, I guess one thing was just there's a saying that when you've hit rock bottom, You can, like, there's one about lying on your back and looking up and seeing the stars. It was that kind of feeling like I've reached the lowest point now and I'm not getting any lower, which is relaxing for one. You know, I got to sit in that space for a bit and become comfortable with it. And I guess there was no more room for any negative feelings or experiences or perceptions. And so I think I was ready to take on something that was different and to, you know, reconfigure how things were. And so around about that time, I started reading a graphic novel by Neil Gaiman called The Sandman. Yeah. That completely changed my perspective for how I was seeing music and how I wanted to continue to pursue my career in music. Because at that time, I just wanted to quit. Yeah. I thought that everything I was doing musically was problematic. And it was because I had the understanding that, you know, like, to be a musician, to be a popular musician, I wasn't popular at the time, but I understood that if you become a popular musician, you have an influence over so many people. And with that, you are potentially guiding their thoughts and feelings. And so the place that I was in, like, everything I was writing was so negative and angry. And I just thought, if I put this out and this energy, what am I going to do to the rest of the world? Like, I felt like the devil was in what I was doing. So I'd be then sending the devil onto people. Wow. And so this graphic novel kind of allowed me to see so many perspectives and locations that I could link to emotions that I was really inspired. And it inspired me to adapt how I do my music to traverse these locations. Like, it's about Morpheus. Morpheus is the anthropomorphic personification of dreams.
Say that quicker.
Did you just ask me to say that again? Because I can't.
Say that quicker.
Oh, gosh. No. But yeah, so Dream is traversing all these places, presenting himself in the form of whatever he's in front of, identifying with. And so there's scenes where if he's talking to like an alien species, he appears as that species. If he's talking to cats, he appears as a cat. And he just meets people in their spaces and goes through all these stories. And I found it really inspiring. And it gave me justification for how I can adapt to music. And so instead of rejecting what I was creating and seeing it as so negative, I realized that it's something that allows me to meet people if they're feeling that way. And so I'd meet them in that space and then allow them the space to traverse it. And not in the nature of, you know, being that kind of preacher and saying, you must change, you need to this and that. It's just, I see you here and there are directions that you could go from here. You just need to look out into beyond the abyss. Yeah. And so I started writing in that nature. I changed my name to NeOne The Wonderer, which is the NeOne part is being able to meet people as they are and being able to adapt to different moods or philosophies within music and not being boxed just to one personality. Yeah. And the Wanderer, spelt with an O instead of an A, is the idea of traversing the mind and the feelings. Wow. And so, yeah, that was the inspiration taken from the Sandman graphic novels. And another thing that brought that change was having my daughter. I guess just before she was born, I was going even more crazy than before. But what I didn't realize it was the process of nesting, they call it, where the dad kind of goes all wild and it's like just panicking because there's a new life about to enter the world. But just before she was born, I was like, okay, let me actually focus. And I started to calm myself back down because I was off the rails. But I started calming myself back down. Me and my partner, bless her, we've been on and off for so many years. And she was very patient with me during this. And as soon as our daughter was born, it was just like, right, I'm a father now and I'm going to do what I can to bring a blessed life to this child. Yeah. This is our second child. And so the first child, we were both kids and we were both immature. Yeah. And so we were learning how to get things right. This time round, I guess I still had traumas that I hadn't dealt with. And so I gotten past those and realized that, you know, if we don't come to peace with our traumas, we pass it on. And I realised, and my partner realised, that we were reliving our parents' traumas and their issues. And so we both managed to get past that, and we got somewhat over our own traumas. I know there's still little things we have in our personality, but that's just emotions, which is okay. And we managed to, you know, come together and do better for our children. And so the lowest moment of not having my shit together led to me getting my shit together.
Wow, that's so amazing. Thank you for all of that. It sounds like kind of when you're in the most chaos, it was like having a sense of purpose that regrounded you. So
yes,
like
exactly.
the music being a purpose and your daughter being a purpose as well, like feeling like you can contribute something, I guess, which helps with worth, maybe a sense of self-worth.
Oh, yes.
I think when you're in a dark place, that's when you feel the most worthless. So to have like a project to work on or something to prepare for or a responsibility like a daughter, it sounds like that's what helped you.
Yeah. And I think everybody has their narrative and their focus point into what they put into their content. And mine is definitely to do with knowing your own worth, because I think I spent a lot of years not understanding my worth and trying to find that in other people. And unfortunately, I'm going to say it, I'm going to blow my own trumpet. I'm quite a talented lad. And
you are.
There were people that would feel threatened by me and try and downplay what I was in order to feel better about themselves.
Yeah.
But in a place of vulnerability in myself, you know, I took on that. I believed that and didn't have any value for myself. And so I feel that I definitely found my worth. And what I find interesting is that it was all like calm is it calm after the storm? I'm thinking of the tornado, the eye of the tornado in the very center is very...
Is it the eye of the hurricane?
Oh, no.
I feel like in the middle of a tornado is like hectic as fuck.
But then in the center, isn't it really
eye of the storm,
like, quiet?
It just says.
I'm probably just making up shit then. But yeah, I found calm in the storm, in a disastrous thing, in the center of a tornado that had its eye. And no, the eye of the tornado in the film is where everything freezes.
Eye of the tiger?
Yeah, I found the eye of the tiger and then ran up some stairs and did some shadow boxing for a bit. And then everything was great.
Listen, famously that works. Amazing. Okay, 3 things that make you feel like shit.
Not knowing my worth.
Yeah.
Well, not knowing my worth. Feeling worthless.
Yes.
Makes me feel like shit without fail.
Uh-huh.
Not being able to keep my word.
Okay.
If I've let somebody down, that's like, that to me is the worst dishonor that I can do.
Wow.
If I've lied to somebody or anything like that, I just feel so guilty. Like as a child, I didn't even need to get beaten much. Black parents, they used to beat the kids. I didn't get beaten much because as soon as I'd let my mum down, that's it. I'm flooding with tears. And it was because...
Beating yourself.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like I try to be as honourable as possible. And if I haven't done that, I feel like absolute shit.
Yeah.
And third, a lack of computer games. Sometimes I just need some computer games in my life to
tap out sometimes, go to a different realm.
I'm about that life.
Yeah.
And not doing music as well.
Okay.
There was a point in my life where I tried to put music aside because it's that get a real job thing and all of that.
Yeah.
And so I thought, okay, I need to prioritize trying to get into the work field of other things and put music to one side. And I became even more depressed and realized that I can't live without it. I've put everything into this. Just creativity as a whole, I reckon.
Yeah, it's such an outlet, isn't it? It's such an outlet and like therapy. If that's the way that you communicate your feelings and stuff like that, to not have that would feel like such a loss.
Yeah, I feel like I always say that musicians and creatives are the people that create. Like we voice things that people don't know how to voice. We take emotions and turn it into art for people to then better understand what it is they're feeling. And so that's like me taking away my voice. And so I feel shit if I can't make music.
Yeah.
I want to know what yours are.
That's a separate podcast.
Okay.
Hey, Ant.
Hey.
You do a great job in editing this podcast, might I say. If people like the podcast, what do they need to do?
Like it.
What else?
Follow it on social media.
And then what?
They could share it with every single person they know.
Thanks, Ant. You can go back to your corner now.
Bye.
3 things that make you feel like the shit.
achieving an intended goal.
Okay.
Now, my intentions are not like, I want to get this car, even though that was one. And I do feel like the shit for that. Usually it's when I'm creating something, I'll put in an intention that is so like specific. And I do believe that it can happen, but I never know that it's going to happen. So I'll write a song, and in the process of writing, I'll be like, I want people to feel this way or think about this. And when I hear somebody say, oh, I was listening to this song and it reminded me of this thing.
Wow.
Well, shit then, I'm not sort of right. That to me is achieving major goals. Like, I know we need to get money in life, houses and stuff like that. Yes, I'd love those things and I do want those things. But when I've really achieved something like that, that nobody knew that I intended for people to get from a song, I'm the shit. I've done that.
That's amazing. That's like being just understood, isn't it? Like,
I guess
as an artist,
But the best way to describe it is there was once, there's a few songs. One song I started talking about relativity, string theory, and I did it in terms of speaking of taking chances. And so I try and like link things really randomly in that way. And somebody quoted one of the lyrics and goes, oh, nice reference to string theory there. I was like, okay. That got noticed. In the other song, I remember I wrote a song about, I wanted to write a song that would make people in that brink of breaking up in a relationship decide that they actually want to try, because it always becomes this miscommunication and things like that. And so while writing the song, all I'm thinking of is the achievements, which we're going to try.
Yeah.
And I remember the song hasn't been released, but was performing it just in a student flat, like amongst some friends. And afterwards, the guy speaking to me outside is like, oh man, me and my girl, you know, we're going through this, we're going through that. I just want to go to the club and find some gal and, you know, just this and that. He just wanted to end it. And I was just like, but he felt the need to talk to me about it after hearing us perform this song. Bearing in mind, this is the first time he's met me.
Wow.
Maybe the second. The first time he met me was just like, yeah, well, go on type thing. And then second time we're talking this deep. And so he asked us to perform the song again and videoed it and sent it to his partner. And I remember like maybe a month or so later, we're doing an open mic and I've seen him and his partner together.
No.
And she's come up to me and gone, oh, this is my favourite song. Me and my partner were going through stuff and he sent me this and says, I really want to try. And, you know, we're here and
oh my God,
they've broken up since. But
is that because you wrote a breakup song that they saw?
The intention was achieved and it made me realise, like, if I set a goal in that type of way and I put pure intention behind something, I can achieve anything. And with that power, I have to behave responsibly. Otherwise,
absolutely, you could start wars.
Yeah, take over the world real quick.
Well, that kind of goes back to that thing that you were saying about being a creative is putting things into language or music that other people can't articulate.
Yes.
And like how amazing for him. I feel it sometimes where people just feel like they are more close to you or know you better because of the work that I've put out, and they have this need to share things with me sometimes that I don't think they talk to other people about, but it's because they in that moment feel quite understood.
Yeah.
And you've given them something tangible as well, because I think a lot of people are like feeling things but not quite sure how to like grasp it. And actually with like a song or with lyrics or with poetry, it's giving them something tangible to a feeling that they can take away with them. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah,
and
amazing.
The thing is, like, language itself is a limitation. It gives you some, but it is limited, especially when there's a country that has like 15 words for love or something like that.
Wow.
And so we're here using limited words just to describe love.
That's
how
wild.
do we then portray how we feel about things? There's times when we feel something and the only way to describe it is just to go, and that's it. That's the only way to describe that feeling.
Yeah.
And so, you know, non-verbally through art, as in paintings, or through dance, or through acting, like you have to put so much into your acting to really portray something. And it's beyond just the words alone. Yeah. The words are just lines that you have to remember and portray. But if you put the emotion behind it, that's when you're truly communicating.
Yeah. Yeah. I remember when I was at drama school, my movement teacher said to us, because I think we were talking about musical theatre, and he was like, sometimes, you know, when words aren't enough, you have to sing. You have to sing it. And then if singing isn't enough, you have to dance. And that's like the impetus behind that thing. But it's that like to communicate the emotion, like when you're feeling such like heights of emotion, you just have to dance sometimes because it's the only way that you can communicate it to someone. I've always kind of loved that. A little like dance routine.
I'm going to try that one day. Like, when I'm feeling an intense amount of emotion, I'm just going to start dancing. Remember the crump style dancing?
Yeah.
I'm going to be in an argument and go into crump. Am I allowed to talk about drugs?
Yeah.
I was once on mushrooms, only a small amount. But I remember coming home and having a crump battle with my PC because it wouldn't start up. And by the end of it, it was working, so I won the battle.
Shout out to shrooms there. Okay, 2 more things that make you feel like this shit.
Making my family feel joy. Like if we take them out or anything like that and they're just buzzing from having a good day and like, yeah. That's us. But then sometimes the little shits are ungrateful and you've just finished taking them out and they're like, can we do this? And we're like, I thought we'd just done that. And now it's time to go home.
Wow.
They can equally take it away just as fast as the feeling arrives.
Oh my God. How old are your kids now?
My eldest is 12 and my youngest is 7.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's like full-on people, like they can talk and everything.
Yeah. It gets real, man. You realise like, shit, this is life. These are living things.
Yeah.
Me and their mom just did a little bit of hanky-panking and life came out of it. But yeah, as much as scary as it is, it's really inspiring as well.
Do you feel like you learn from them?
Yeah, a lot.
Yeah.
A hell of a lot. Like just watching how they figure things out was the best times of my life when they were little toddlers. That's my favorite time. When they're just newborn, they're kind of boring. They're just crying and all that stuff. You wake up at night, you put them back to sleep. When they're able to start crawling and adventure and all that sort of stuff, it's the most fascinating. I'll just watch them for hours.
Wow. Yeah, okay. So one more thing that makes you feel like the shit.
Games.
I fucking love games.
Yeah, I'm a non-competitive competitor. Okay. So I like to... I just love games as a social activity. Yeah. But if I'm winning, you're going to know about it.
What kind of games are you talking about?
So the combination. I like sports. I like to play basketball with my friends. Okay. I like skating. I ride all the unorthodox skateboards. So I've got a snake. Hold on a second.
Yeah, get it up.
Got a snake board.
I have never seen that before in my life.
They were about in the 90s. They were called sidewinders or snake boards. These move like really cool. And I like zipping around on one of these. And then I've recently been given... shouldn't have thrown it.
Oops.
I've recently been given a surf skate, which is, I haven't been surfing, but it's like surfing on concrete, which is really cool.
Wow, that's cool.
Yeah, I made the mistake of trying to drop in on a ramp on one though, and I nearly broke everything.
Jesus, careful.
Yeah, there's a video on Instagram if anyone wants to see that for their own pleasure. I also like video games a lot. And so that... I'm not the typical just shooter games type of person. There's only like 2 shooter games that I play. I like the nerdy games.
Like what?
There's a game called Age of Empires, a very old Command and Conquer type game.
Wow.
There's a game called League of Legends. I'm going to get a lot of judgment for saying that, but I like playing League of Legends. There's a game called Phasmophobia.
What is that?
That is, you remember, I don't know what channel it was, but if you was up late, there's a channel on TV where they're ghost hunting. And it's just random people walking into a haunted area. The camera's always got the night vision on it. Like,
green.
It spoke to me. Did you hear it? There is a game just like that. And we play it with friends, and I swear down, we get shit scared so many times. Oh my
God.
But it's just awesome.
Funny.
I like the experience. I like the social aspect of having a reason to laugh.
Yeah.
And so whatever game brings that out in the moment is usually what I go for, which is probably why I don't play many shooters, because everyone just starts raging and gets overly focused on it. And then I lose the joy.
Yeah. Would you play like board games?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Scrabble. I'm very bad at chess. We're playing a chess league at the moment, and I've drawn once to someone who was equally as bad as me, and I've lost every other game.
Oh my God.
I actually lost one game in less than a minute to my brother.
Wow, that's got to be a record.
Yeah, I'm very annoyed about that because I introduced him to chess. I bought him a chessboard for Christmas, and he was like, "Oh, what you got me this for, man?" Type of energy, like, I ain't gonna play this. Then one day, maybe 6 months later, once he's finally tried it, it's like, yo, let's play chess. And we played. It was still at the learning phase, so I was playing all right. I still don't know how to finish a chess match, so I pretended that I was good and forfeit. I've really got in his head. And so ever since, he's been playing non-stop.
Oh my God.
To the point where he beat me in a minute. And
Have you got it like on your phone? Is that how you?
Yeah. We're all connected on the phone. We've got a WhatsApp group chat.
Oh my God, it's like a big thing.
Yeah.
Wow.
What other board? Ooh, have you heard of Boulder Dash?
I have, but I've never played it. Is it good?
Oh my gosh, play Boulder Dash.
Yeah.
You can play it with any ages and have so much fun. I've laughed tears. I've laughed until my facial muscles are sore, like I've been in a gym session.
Oh my God.
I highly recommend playing Boulder Dash. It's about 8 players and you just catch fun. Yeah. Very good.
I think like the best days of my life are just with friends playing stupid games.
Yeah.
But it's that thing of being a kid again, isn't it? It's like just joy.
Yeah. I think it's interesting because like adulting is just work every day, get a little bit of entertainment and then go to sleep to work again.
Yeah.
But in reality, we all just want to be as free and expressive as possible.
Yeah.
And I'm about to take it real. I don't know if this is considered conspiracy, but we've developed AI, which could technically do all the work we need to do. Mm-hmm. But it's out there having fun. There's AI that learns games. There's AI that's doing art. And we're still working 5 jobs in a row.
Wow. That is a hot take, to be fair. Yeah. I've heard some people who are a bit more optimistic about AI saying that, like, hopefully it can take over all the boring jobs and then we can just lead more creative lives.
Well, yeah, ideally. I have seen that they've got things like AI that does farming, which scans the land and puts pesticide where pesticide is needed, fertilizer where fertilizer is needed. Those things, to me, are genius. But humans with technology always figure out the worst ways to use it.
Yeah.
And so there's so many areas that we don't need it for that seems to be dominating right now.
Yeah.
Like essays. What's going to happen to our education?
Oh my God, out the window.
Oh, man.
It's mad.
I'm interested to see what happens. I no longer feel threatened as a musician, though. That's how I felt at the start.
What's changed?
Well, people will not be satisfied by a robot giving them vibes. Let's just put it that way. Like you said, the best time is spent with friends and doing this and that. If I'm going to be out and performing and all that sort of stuff, people are going to connect to that and have a joyous moment from that. A machine can't replicate vibes.
That's true.
What they will be able to do, I reckon, which will kind of take over the streaming side of things, is create music to moods. And they'll be able to just generate music as and when someone wants it. Like, oh, I'm in the mood for something to like this. Yeah. Fair enough. Let AI do that. If people want to pay into that, then they can have that. But I think people will still want to have a personal experience with someone that they've connected to on a personal level.
Yeah.
What the fuck's actually going to happen once everybody's jobs are replaced? Like, what are we going to be doing?
Well, that's it. Idealistic people who I've spoken to have said that maybe like everyone would get like a universal living wage and then we can all just like do creative endeavors, and then like less optimistic people are like, it's the end of humanity. I don't know. It's scary, isn't it? Like, this is like the next, we had the Industrial Revolution, and this kind of feels like the next kind of technological revolution of like, what the fuck is going to happen to humans? I was having a conversation last night about this, actually, in terms of what jobs I think would still exist or be needed.
Yeah.
And I think my theory is that everyone should be a chef, because a computer can't taste things. Like, it might be able to like draw in an old recipe, but like if it's like trying to create like a new flavor, like it won't be able to taste it to tell if it tastes any good.
Technically, AI isn't capable of creating anything new, is it? Because it's only able to learn and recreate.
Yeah, exactly. So that, but also I think like teaching or like jobs that need nuance in terms of like reading people emotionally. I don't feel like a computer will be able to do that.
They're
like,
trying to.
Oh! But like, because obviously like we can have a conversation and you could be saying something, but I could see in your eyes, or like I could read your face or read the things around the words that you're saying. Like, is a computer going to be able to do that?
Yes.
I don't want
Faster
it.
than a human.
No. Let's just give up. I'll just hand in this podcast to AI and fuck off, basically. Something that makes you lose your shit in a positive and a negative way.
Okay, something that makes me lose my shit is a bass line.
A bass line.
Heavy bass line. I'll go crazy. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's in my DNA, but bass lines, that's it. I'm going wild over a good bass line in a tune.
What's like your favourite bass line in a song? Can you think of one?
No, I can't actually.
Put you on the spot, to be fair.
Yeah.
Prove
Usually it's just a moment that takes me away. Like when someone sequenced the song really good and that bass comes in, it's got to take you by surprise to the point where you've almost gasping for breath because that moment you wasn't expecting and stuff. When I hear something like that happen, I'll start shouting for a while.
Just for no reason. Okay, and a negative way.
I'm quite a volcano of a person. And so for many, many years, I remained dormant and I get my buttons pushed and I think it will be something completely unrelated that will make me lose my shit. So
yeah, but it's just been like pressed down, the repression.
Yeah, it's the unfortunate moment of whatever was there at the time that I'm ready to explode. And it takes me a while to realize, it was all of these things instead of this thing. But thankfully, it takes a long time for me to get to that stage.
So once every 75 years, like procedures.
Or a very interesting example. I was at home. I don't even think he wanted any, but my brother was at the house. We had crumpets. I just put a crumpet on. And I made sure he knew that he wasn't allowed to have this crumpet because I was once maybe 7 and I made a crumpet. I buttered it. I took it back out and rebuttered it. I made it the juiciest crumpet ever known to humanity. And him and our stepfather's son at the time we were all making breakfast or lunch or something. They were like, you can't have this one. I was like, what do you I've been planning this crumpet. They ate my crumpet and said I couldn't have it. So I ate that crumpet and made him watch with tears streaming down my face in diabolical, maniacal laughter. And that was probably last year.
Wow. And you'd been sitting on that for a good few years.
Sitting on that for
God. Wow. God, I'd hate to piss you off and then like be waiting for like 20 years until
when you least expect it.
A moment that you found some shit out about yourself.
I guess when I was depressed, that I'm stronger than I thought and that, I can take on a lot more than I thought and that I can achieve things that I set my mind to in ways that I didn't imagine.
That's really great.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, shittest piece of advice you received?
Outside of music, it would be like relationship advice. And I've been given some bad advice for that. Not terrible advice. Advice that would work in one way, but not benefit everybody involved, if that makes sense.
Well, it's so hard when you get advice about relationships because only the two people in the relationship actually know the truth.
Yeah, exactly.
So like you can go to people for their opinions, but ultimately like it really has to come from yourself.
Yep. And usually that person's single. So what kind of advice should I be taking?
That is so true. That is so true. Okay, shit you wish you'd known sooner.
That nobody cares. It took, again, being at my lowest point. And I remember I was talking to one of my best friends called Jason. He's an actor as well. And I remember I was just, at this point, I thought that I was failing at everything. I would let everybody down and all this sort of stuff. And he was just trying to give me just little things that I could do to get better or progress somehow in the situation that I was in. And I was like, but what if I mess it up or what if I don't do it? And he's like, it just laughed and says, I don't care, you know?
Yeah.
And that was the best thing I ever heard. I was like, it was a relief. There was no pressure. And I think people caring, one, puts pressure on you.
Yeah.
And people caring, two, gives you expectations of people.
Yeah.
And so it was like, that's kind of the I need to get my shit together message, that nobody cares. Nobody cares for the good things or the bad things. It's equal both ways.
Yeah. And it's like no one's thinking about you as much as you're thinking about yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, yeah.
Especially when things like anxiety kicks in and I'm thinking, is this person thinking this or that? No, they don't care. Yeah. They do not care.
Yeah.
And then
they're thinking about themselves.
Yeah. Like, when people think it towards me in situations, like, I don't care. I try and get to that point where they realize that I don't care as quickly as possible so that something's diffused and we can just continue doing the shit we do. Because I think, you know, overthinking things like that, which I'm a massive overthinker, slows everything down. And I ain't got time to not have time.
Okay, we're now at the point of the shit shot. That's a photo that to the outside eye looks like you had your shit together, but at the time it was taken, you definitely didn't. So
this picture is taken from a So Far Sounds performance.
That's such a great photo.
It's a lovely photo.
Yeah.
And it was in a library somewhere in London. And it was during the time So Far Sounds had actually given me an apartment for a month. I just had an apartment to live in for free.
No way.
Yep. So on the outside, I'm doing things. Like I got an apartment for free. I'm living out in London. Yeah. I've got a film So Far Sounds gig that's I think has done quite well. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
And so on the outside, it's like this guy's made it. But in reality, I was still broke. And I was supposed to be at college. This is the big thing. So after lockdown, there was the whole emphasis on creativity going to the back burner and everyone needing to retrain. And so I decided to take on an electrician course.
Oh, wow.
And I'd finished my first year. And then the second year, because I'd already had a degree and all that stuff, I was overqualified to get it for free. And it was going to cost me like $2,500.
Oh, my God.
I ain't got that money for nothing. So I didn't take a year. But then they randomly threw it in for free again. And so I quickly leaped at the opportunity.
Oh, wow.
And obviously, you know, courses start in September. I was given this apartment in October, and so it was like the choice of go to college or do this. Yeah. So I was like, I can do both somehow. I didn't.
Oh my God.
And I was very, very behind on college work.
Yeah.
I remember I was dragging equipment all up around London, up and down, like carrying far more than a person should.
Wow.
And like, it meant that my journeys would take longer because everything's dropping all over the place. What else was going on? I don't know if I could say this because it might make people look bad, but the apartment that I was in was flooding slowly.
No.
And it took quite a long time to realise, like...
when it was up to your neck.
I had a bed and there was an airbed for guests. And one day I've lifted up the airbed and it was just soaked underneath.
No.
And I even said to one of my guests, yo, how much sweating do you do at night?
Rude.
And eventually I realised that it was a leak because I pulled out the bed that I was on and there was water, just loads of water underneath. I think it was coming from the radiators or something.
Oh my God.
But progressively it was spreading to the point where it nearly got onto my electrical equipment. And so they had to move me out into a really, really swanky apartment after that was in Elephant and Castle. And some tall tower block flats with a big view over London. I was only there for 2 days. And so I was a bit jealous because I knew whoever was getting the artist residency after me was going to go straight to the nice one. I was just like, oh. But yeah, it was an amazing experience. But at the same time, I was...
chaos behind the scenes.
Yeah, lots of chaos. And I was just letting it happen. There's a picture of a dog a cartoon dog sat in a room that's on fire. And I think the dog's saying, this is fine. Have you ever seen it? That was me.
Did you have the hat as well?
Yeah.
The little top hat?
Yeah. During that time, I had no clue what I was doing or trying to do. And I was coasting in a room that was not on fire, but was flooding.
Yeah.
And so, I remember on the outside, people would message me like, oh, you're doing really well and this and that. I'd be like, little do you fucking know.
With your bucket out the window trying to get rid of the water.
Yeah.
Wow, that's a good one. Thanks for sharing that. Okay, so Nathan, aka NeOne The Wonderer, have you got your shit together?
Nearly. I'd say, yeah. I don't think anyone ever truly has all their shit together.
This is the conspiracy.
And so I've got some shit in a bag, some in the toilet, some in the bed.
Somewhere it needs to be.
Yeah, somewhere it needs to be.
Some motorway on the way to London when you popped in.
That story wasn't about me.
Well, thank you so much. It's been so nice chatting to you.
It's been nice chatting to you as well. I love how you allow people to just be so open and vulnerable in these situations.
I think
it's in the name, isn't it? It takes away formality.
Yeah, I think it does. That's the point. I want people to just feel like they can talk about